Okay, are we ready to go?
I'm ready if you guys are.
No,
No.
I need a little more refresher.
Max won the race.
Yes.
Insane.
This meeting of the Wheel Girls Club is now in session, where anyone can be a wheel girl. I'm Anne.
I'm Sarah.
And I'm Grace. Let's race. What a weekend.
Surprisingly
I
good
was
weekend.
exhausted.
I second that.
Because of all the things that happened in Imola.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a big weekend in
Took it out
Imola.
of me.
I feel like part of what made this weekend of racing enjoyable was I had fairly low expectations for Emila because the old circuit is pretty narrow and it didn't seem like there's going to be too much opportunity to pass or various things. And it delivered, I
It
thought.
sounds like you're saying it delivered in the low expectations.
No, no, no. I mean
And
the
it
opposite.
was
It was
boring.
actually a good race. It was
It
actually a good
delivered.
race.
It delivered for me when Ferrari qualified in
11th and
Q2.
12th.
11th and 12th,
Yeah.
below Williams.
Significantly below
Did you
Williams.
like that?
I liked it. I like that. That gave me satisfaction.
Yeah. Elephant in the room, producer Shelley's not in this episode, so I do think I'm going to have to hold the line on the Williams fan
No,
cast.
no. Oh, let's talk about my Williams scam. No,
Oh, let's talk about it. Let's talk about that. Yeah.
last week, I'm embarrassed about it. No,
You don't, why are
We're
you
not going to be the
embarrassed,
only
Grace?
podcast that's talking
Williams should
about
be
this.
embarrassed, but I'm embarrassed. I'm an active user of the Janky Williams app, and I sign up for all the giveaways. And I signed up for like a Q&A with Alex and Carlos. And I get an email that's like, you got selected for a meet and greet with Carlos and Alex. Be it like you need to sign on to Zoom or sign in like 15 minutes before, and Carlos will be there from this time to this time, and Alex will be there from this time to this time. I do the math. I figure out like what time is that in Minnesota where I'm going to be at. I set an alarm for 6:30, even though I've had to wake up at 3 a.m. the morning before to fly to Minnesota. I get my parents all excited because they're like, yeah, we'll get up early to meet with Carlos and Alex. We'll sit right next to you. And then I'm like, maybe I should watch some TikToks about this. And I start, because I'm like, what is this? What have I won? So, because I try to Google it and there's really not like much even on the Williams website about it. So I'm like, this is a bad sign. So then I start looking at TikToks and it's just girls being like, oh my gosh, I just got invited to the Carlos and Alex meet and greet
Everyone got invited.
at the exact same time. Like it's like be available from this time to this time. So I'm like, if there's already like 10 girls on TikTok talking about this, there's 100 people out there. I'm like, okay,
A
okay.
hundred, a
But
thousand.
1,000. Regardless, I set up my like login info on my mom's laptop because I don't have mine. I'm logging in and it's like try again, try again, try again, try again, try again.
Everyone's logging in.
And I'm also had already done this on my phone because I'm like, oh, well, I'll just use my phone. And it would take me somewhere and then it would be like a black screen. Or it would take me and then it'd be like, okay, log in. No, log in. Try again. Try again. So at this point, I've missed, and I had woken up, like dad had come and woken me up like 20 minutes before the log on time. So at this point, I'm like, I've been at this for a minute. I, at this point, Carlos' time has passed because it was only a 10-minute time period. And now we're
Tragic. Tragedy.
we're heading into Alex's time. So I'm like, let me get in. I do get in finally. Log in. And then it's just Alex and a PR guy, like on a Zoom conversation. And Alex is like answering a question. And then I'm like, oh, can I like write a message? Because there's like a chat message area. So I'm like, let me write a message here. I go to write a message, nothing. I go to like click around within this, and there's no messages in the chat message area. It's just like a video. So then I'm like, what? So then I'm an idiot. I click refresh,
Gone.
never get back in.
What a bummer.
Moment of silence for all the Williams girls who got swindled this weekend.
What the heck? And
Do
then
better, Williams.
it was like, thanks for joining us. And I just want to be like, I need to win a different giveaway.
You should write them an email. You should write them an email to customer service. Tell them what happened. Maybe they'll give you some free swag.
I did send a message to like the help bot. Like it was like, talk to a real person for help.
No.
Not a single response. I'm like, I've been trying to log in for 15 minutes.
Oh my
I
God.
was like, I wish this was a computer because at least it would respond.
Oh,
Great start to the weekend. Awesome start to
Yeah,
the
so then I was
weekend.
already I was in the headspace.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, we got to talk about the weekend, you guys. Come on. Let's talk about quali.
quali was great. It was also really long.
Poor Charles was a wreck
He
this
was
weekend. He was
he
sad.
was it was a weekend of whiny men, and Charles was leading the charge.
Ferrari was
Yeah.
experiencing all the emotions.
I feel like low-key Lewis was like really kind of vibing because it was just like first race in Italy with Ferrari. He's just like, I have all these like wonderful fans, the Tifosi. He was
Meanwhile,
vibing.
Charles is like, "Why am I the unluckiest boy who ever lived?"
Yeah.
I feel like Ferrari can either have a good car, but like not figure out how to get their strategy straight and like actually support a driver to win a championship, or they can be doing pretty decent in strategy and running the team and have a slow car. They can't seem to figure out the
I
combination
mean,
of both.
the car is definitely better on race pace.
Yeah, but also
You have to
passing is
admit.
really, yes, it is. Passing is also really hard this year. And so if you're qualifying further back, you don't really have much of a chance during most of the races.
They always swing one way or the other because I feel like, what was it? Last year or the year before, they could qualify so well, but then
Mhm.
they would just slide right back to like fifth.
And Red Bull had the race pace. I thought Oscar in quali was very impressive. I
Yeah. That was
thought George
exciting.
was impressive. It was interesting how uh some people tried the medium tires during quali and they seemed to
Yeah.
actually do better, but I
Yeah.
was convinced Q3 was going to start and all of the teams were going to throw on medium tires after what Aston Martin had done, and then none of them did.
I think they knew that like they if they it wasn't quite good enough to get where they wanted to go. Like they were all thinking, I'm getting pole today, and I'm not getting pole on mediums.
See, I don't think George would have been as high if he had been on a soft.
I think you're right, but I think George didn't think he was getting pole. I think George
Yeah.
was like, I'm gonna be in 10th. It seemed like, what was the deal? The window with the softs was much narrower.
Yes.
And so with the mediums, it was like easier to get it in the window, but you were
But you
never going
can't
to
go as
achieve
fast.
quite that perfection if you got the softs in the window.
Hmm.
I mean, crazy
Yeah, I
that
think I agree.
Carlos was first at the end of Q2.
That was so exciting.
And obviously, like the other teams aren't really going for first at that point, but it's still like very
Still,
impressive.
yeah. I also, because everything had been taking so long with the two red flags already at that point, part of my brain was like, for a second, I thought it was Q3 and Carlos was in first.
Oh my gosh.
What was
Can
the
you
second
imagine?
red flag?
That was Colapinto.
Colapinto.
Oh,
Right at the very end of Q1.
yes. Yeah,
And
yeah,
then
yeah.
Ollie Bierman's lap didn't count.
What do we think about Ollie Bierman's lap not
Um,
counting? It didn't seem right based on what I saw on F1 TV.
I think I agree. It didn't
they
seem
debated
right.
about it for a really long time, didn't they? It was like Q2
They
was delayed.
extended, yeah.
Yeah.
And then
And
they
then
were
they
like,
Hmm.
never
nah.
really made any sort of announcement. It was just,
Yeah.
oh,
And if you watch the video, like it seems like there was not a red flag until like after he crossed the line.
mhm,
That was
Hmm.
visible.
mhm.
And that was the whole point was like when did Ollie see the red flag? I don't know.
I don't
No,
know. It does seem like that's like the second time that's happened this year, right? Where
well, it's just
well, Alex had
if
a penalty or something after
Nico
the end of
Hulkenberg,
quali.
Nico Hulkenberg had a penalty, and if he had
Yes,
actually gotten that penalty when it happened, would have not made the next round of quali.
right. Yeah.
But
Maybe there's gray areas in the rule book that they need to firm up.
aren't there always?
No, the gray areas are the fun part.
But I feel like the way that he like got handled and resolved was very weird. Of like there was never any sort of announcement or thing put out saying like this stands. It was just, oh,
Just
Bortoletto
we're
is out there
racing.
driving.
It seemed like what
Oh,
happened was
interesting.
Stake was like, let's just get him out there. And they probably won't say he can't go.
No, there's no way. There's no way
They
that's
must have been
true.
told.
They would have gotten like a fine or something. I feel
At
like
Would they?
least.
they're not messing around. Those stewards, they're
Yeah.
not messing around.
I think Hulkenberg did really good during the race. I'll say that.
Both stakes look pretty decent.
Is that just because they only have speed in a straight line?
Well, and I think they also had some moments when they had good tires and the cars around them didn't.
Hmm.
And so you had to actually see them
Yeah.
pass other
Also,
cars
let's
and do
talk about
stuff.
the number of pits.
Every time it's gonna be a one stop, here's
It's a
my
three
secret for
stop.
you. It's not gonna be a one stop. It's gonna
And every time
be
it's going to
two
be a
or
two
three.
stop, it's going to be a one stop.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like every time, and they're always like, this will definitely be a one stop. Like, they're like,
Well,
no
and then
doubt in
this
my
one
mind, this is a
was
one stop for you
wild
guys.
because it was like it definitely could have been a one stop. Was it a three
I think
stop
it
for
would have
some
been a one
people?
stop. It was a one stop for some people, and I think it would
For
have been
one.
for more cars if the safety cars hadn't happened.
Yeah, it was the safety cars that really like threw things up in a
But
whirl.
wasn't it
But
like
Yeah.
also, like
a
the
lot
cars
of
were pitting
they
on lap
had
9.
Piastri and Carlos pitting early on, and then it became very obvious that the other cars were like, actually, the tires are fine.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
Piastri pit to do an undercut, and Max extended his lead.
Yeah, that
right.
seems bad. I think
Yeah,
that's
it was
actually
bad.
called bad.
I think it's bad, and I think Oscar should have throw some sort of fit about it.
What?
Yeah, Max did not
Okay,
deserve that
I
win.
have to take a moment and say Max's move on turn one was impressive.
Dirty move.
Oh, how, Sarah?
I'm just kidding. It was
How?
impressive. It
He's
was very
joking.
impressive. I was loving all the commentators being like, this is an out of body experience watching him do this. I'm hovering above my body watching Max Verstappen in his car.
Stop. It
They were all
was.
like nerding out. It was very charming.
I thought it was an impressive move from Max. I thought the way he kept the lead throughout the whole race was impressive. And I also, to me, it shows the issues that McLaren is going to have moving forward. If Lando and Oscar are continually competing against each other, and then Max
Oh,
is,
don't be like that, Anne.
it's true.
It's
I
not
well,
true.
okay,
It's
it's
not
not
true.
though.
Max is like 10 points behind Lando in the championship right now.
Okay.
Okay.
He's like
So you're saying
25
both of the
points
McLaren drivers
behind.
are ahead of Max right now.
Yeah. So McLaren isn't having that issue.
And also they're well
I'm
ahead in the
saying
Constructors'
that
Championship.
this is the way that Max could win. This is the way
With
that
what?
Max could lose the driver, that McLaren could lose the drivers' championship.
Only if Max keeps literally winning races, in
Yeah.
which case it wouldn't matter anyway.
He's
But
won
it's
two
not like
already.
Max won because he like pit Lando and Oscar against each other. He just was faster.
No,
He beat Oscar on the track.
no, I agree. I'm just saying that if McLaren down the line later on this season is letting Lando and Oscar competing against each other the entire time, that is a situation that could lead Max to have a chance at winning the championship.
I just think it's such a like boring way to think about it because it's not like Max is like it's not like Red Bull is prioritizing Max. It's like
No.
literally his teammates can't drive his car. I just don't believe. I don't believe.
I don't believe. I believe in my
Sorry.
boys, my McLaren boys.
Well, it's like even when Lewis was dominating at Mercedes, once in a while, Valtteri was still winning too.
He was.
Yeah,
And when Nico Rosberg won the world championship, they were letting those two compete the
I
whole
also
time.
think Mercedes was way more dominant that year compared to McLaren this year.
Well, maybe that's next year for McLaren.
Let the boys race.
Let the boys race. It's
Let the
so
boys
boring. I
race.
don't I'm not against team orders. Like I don't think that they should be like you're not allowed to have team orders. But as a viewer, it's like it's much better to watch them race. And I like that McLaren is like, we just try and do it even. Did anyone watch the pre-race show? Or yeah,
Mm-mm.
was it pre-race or was it? I think it was pre-quali. They were interviewing Zach Brown, and it was like Ruth and I don't know, a couple other people, and they were like, so, it's hard to know how to prioritize the drivers, like blah blah blah. And Zach was like, we just do it like every other. Like if we've given someone the priority in this time, then the next time we give the other driver the priority.
It's giving. I love all my children equally, my beautiful boys. I
My
could never
beautiful
pick a
boys.
favorite.
I don't like Job. I don't care for Job.
I don't care for Oscar.
Stop. I think
Blasphemy.
yeah, let's fully just make something up. Who do you think Zach likes better
On a
right
personal
now?
level?
Who do you
Lando.
think? Anne? Sarah?
No, Oscar.
I think I'm
Oscar is
with
consistent.
Sarah.
He doesn't have the yips. He's just like head
Oh, you?
down. He's just winning races.
I think that Zach has always loved Lando like a son, and that he still loves Lando like a son, but he's also a businessman who's like, Lando, I love you like a son. If you can win this, I will give you 50% opportunity. But he's like, I think I'm
What?
falling in love with Oscar.
He's on The Bachelorette. Yeah. Gosh.
Speaking of falling in love, Williams,
Yes,
I
I'll allow it. I'll allow it.
I let myself dream of
Of
an
a
Alex
podium.
podium.
Hey,
I was very sad.
Yeah.
you, I can't, I mean, I hear you, but then I'm also like, you still have to be so excited.
I know
You're
fifth
Yeah.
and
P4.
eighth is great, and they were in a podium place because of
Yeah.
like the fact that they had a good car and they were driving great. Like there's so many good, wonderful things happening. But I let myself dream of like, oh my gosh, is Alex actually gonna get a podium
Can
in a
you
That's wild.
imagine?
Williams?
That's delusional,
But
and
I
I
mean,
love
that
it.
is definitely like they are building to that point.
I mean,
Definitely.
I feel like they're close to as good as Alpine was when Alpine got multiple podiums last year.
I definitely,
Interesting.
Just
yeah, which is
saying.
interesting because Alpine's kind of a disaster right now.
Interesting.
But it does definitely clear up the like Williams is benefiting, I think, from having two like very solid experienced drivers.
Yeah.
Yes. And who seem to be very
No
good at
rookies.
No
cooperating with
rookies.
each other.
No rookies. Yeah. Well, there's something to be said. They were like, no, we're not doing rookies. Everybody else is doing rookies. And rookies, they maybe are a little bit more variable.
Yeah. I
We'll
gotta
put
say,
it generously. Isaac Hatcher had a great race.
I
Yeah.
Isaac Hadjar to me is the standout
Yeah.
surprise rookie
Yeah.
who has been killing
Surprise!
it.
Not surprised, but he has been killing it.
No surprise here.
Did you follow closely track his F2 progress, Grace?
Yeah, duh. You know how I love to
Obviously.
watch F2.
We love the feeder series.
Formula 2? Give me more Formula Renault. Yeah, he was doing awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, loved that. I mean, and then Ferrari did pull it together for the race, let's be honest, and that was
Lewis Hamilton
upsetting.
had a great
Um,
race, actually.
No,
I,
Charles also did not have the worst race, and he
yeah.
still was like, I am the unluckiest boy who ever raced.
Actually, I think you're conflating things. That was fully Fernando Alonso who was saying that, like
That was
verbatim
Oh,
in
even
it
an
better.
interview.
was.
No, but Charles said it too. Charles
They
had a
both
moment where he
were.
was like,
They were
I'm so
both having a
unlucky.
meltdown.
And then, yeah, Fernando was having an even better meltdown because his was like, Charles was like whiny, and Alonso's was like, he was angry, but he was also whining. It was like angry with like a thread of whining through it.
A
But
great
when Fernando
combination.
gets mad, it's like he's lashing out at everyone around him. He is. This is the part that Shelley would be cutting out
I'll cut it out too, don't
because
worry.
we have, appropriate levels of fear of Fernando Alonso. So I can't be seen to speak ill of him.
No, no, no. None of us can afford that, unfortunately.
We shall respect the master.
He'll cast a spell on me.
Yeah, did you guys see back to Williams for just a moment? Did you guys see I think Carlos was doing some sort of like activity thing and he had to like write a wish and his wish was to win a race with Williams. They like zoomed in on the paper where he was writing. It was very sweet.
I
It was
So
so
literally
sweet.
love that.
Yeah.
That's the kind of energy I need in F1.
Yeah, totally. Wishing and dreaming and manifesting
I'm
and arts and
manifesting
crafts.
that Williams is going to take over Mercedes' spot in the top three.
That's interesting. I
bold.
And Kimi Antonelli to Ferrari. That's
You
what I
think
want.
so?
It feels like at some
Yeah.
point in his career, Kimmy's going to end up at Ferrari.
After Lewis
And then,
retires and after he's won a championship with Mercedes, he's gonna go to Ferrari. Like
and
he's
Toto's
gonna be
going to
the
be like, how did we
legend.
let him get away?
He's
Also,
He was my
Italian.
teenager.
if Williams takes Mercedes' spot in the top three, it's
Yeah.
going to be two customer Mercedes engine teams in the top three and not Mercedes.
That's as it should be.
Interesting. Interesting. I feel like Renault was feeling this a few years back.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
So this is not a new problem. Nothing
That's what makes
new.
the sport so interesting.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I did like, was it at the beginning of the race that DC was like talking about how he was like, basically the engineers want the car to be like engineered down to the most minute detail to go as fast as possible, but they forget that it makes it very difficult to pass. The racing is bad because the engineers have engineered this car to perfection.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, love it. That's what's so interesting about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it was, Annie, you were right. It was a good race.
It
It was
was.
a good race.
Speaking of impressive engineering, okay, Yuki's crash in quali
Mm.
Yeah,
was wild,
Scary.
scary,
Gary.
Yeah.
so very scary. And the fact that his car was totally ready to go the next day, like nothing,
Crazy.
is I I feel like I forget how impressive that is when you look at the state of his car at that moment to less than 24 hours later, it's ready to drive a race.
I thought you were gonna say the Halo. Yeah, I thought you were gonna mention the Halo
The
because I know we
halo.
texted about that a
Oh my
little bit.
gosh, yeah.
Because I was also thinking about that. What a miracle, but not miracle. It's like an engineering,
And feat of engineering.
a feat of
Yes.
engineering that has saved many, many lives in the past like 7 years. And yeah, I was definitely thinking about that because that crash could have been very, very bad
That always
without
makes me think
that
of
Halo.
the interview with Toto in Drive to Survive after that crash in 21 where Max's wheel ended up on top of Lewis's car. And when Toto's
Mhm.
interviewed about it, he's like, yeah, when the Halo was introduced a few years ago, I didn't support it. And now, like, it saved so many lives. I look back and I feel like I'm an idiot for not supporting it.
Yeah. Yeah. We love a reflective king. It's good to and healthy to change your mind. So
Yeah.
remember that.
It's growth.
Oh, also we have to pour one out for Kimmy because he didn't finish his home race.
Kimmy, break it.
Poor
That's a
Kimmy.
classic.
It's a
Yeah,
Kimmy
classic.
is
It's
about
gonna
to have
happen once
a
or twice. And one day you'll win it, Kimmy.
one day.
give it
Mark
five
my
years.
words. When you're at Ferrari, maybe.
When you're at Ferrari, you might win it, but you also might not.
Or you might have to wait 5 years of tragedy, just like Charles.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Maybe.
okay, so next race is Monaco.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Who do you think will win?
I was talking to Shelly yesterday and she was
Yeah,
like, "No, Sarah, I think the Monaco Grand Prix is on Monday."
Monday.
What?
She fully thought that the weekend was
What?
like pushed back a day and that the
Because of
race was on
Memorial
Monday.
Day.
I don't know why, because it's in Monaco.
They gotta celebrate.
They gotta celebrate. They
The
do the
fully
race on
American
Memorial
holiday.
Day. Um, yeah, I don't know who's gonna win.
I think
Um,
Oscar, he's been,
he's on a tear. I'm gonna say
well, and
Lewis
his
because that would be really fun.
Oscar's quality has been good. Oscar
True.
or Max.
Because whoever,
Oh,
it's basically where you qualify.
Yeah.
unless there's a big
Though
crash.
this year, they're all gonna have to pit twice. That's a new rule they've introduced just for Monaco.
There's gonna be a little strategy.
Stop.
Okay, I'm
I
gonna
think
stick with
that's,
Lewis because I'm feeling hopeful.
I'm gonna go with Oscar for the win, but I think I see Alex on the podium.
Okay, it's gonna rain in Monaco. I love it. I think we did P10 last week, but I don't remember who I predicted.
Let's play P3.
Oh, wait, I wrote it down.
Oh, let's hear.
I
Where
wrote
did
it
you
down.
write it
Okay.
down?
Okay, P10 predictions Imola. None of us got it because it was Yuki,
It
right?
was Yuki.
Yeah, okay, none of us got it.
Well, who did we
Grace
Who
said
did we
say?
all say?
Isaac. Shelly said
I was
Ollie.
pretty close.
Anne said Carlos, and I said Esteban.
I wasn't
So
too far off.
two, I didn't even, my pick didn't even finish the race. Should I write down the P3 picks for next week?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, P3 predictions. This is getting cut.
This is getting cut.
Monaco, Grace, Alex Albon.
Alex Albon.
Love it. Annie,
Lando.
P3.
Yes.
Okay,
I want to
if we're
see
doing P3,
P3.
I'm gonna switch and I'm gonna go Lewis to P3
Ooh,
because that
she
feels
doesn't
like,
really believe.
well, I'm just being
Well,
honest. I'm just being honest. What else can I do?
Anything else?
Nope.
This meeting at the Wheel Girls Club is officially adjourned. Thanks for joining us, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Bye.